Alrighty then, so this time we have another special request from one of our followers, and to my surprise, it's actually a Bon Jovi song, which is all the better for me because you all should probably know by now that this is my all-time favorite band, right? So, uh, yeah. Unfortunately, the song is not that well known since it just appeared once on a greatest hits compilation in 2010 without actually being on any prior album. And yeah, that sucks, but it's actually an amazing tune. So be sure to check it out and hopefully try to play it. Right. So okay, before going into the actual solo, just one very quick mention. The solo and the song itself, they're in A sharp minor, and the whole rhythm part is actually in the beginning just some prolonged sustained A sharp chords. Right, you can just play some power chord triad right there, and for the actual verse and chorus you have well, for the chorus you have the following chord progression, which is very familiar. I'll show you in a minute why. Right, so you go from A sharp to F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and yeah, as I was saying, the reason why this is very familiar and it sounds so common is, well, apart from the fact that it's a very standard chord progression, you actually have the very same thing happening in It's My Life. However, in It's My Life, you go up one whole step from A sharp to C. So you have right? So the same thing happens here. And you kind of repeat this whole thing over and over. So as you go into the solo, after you have this one final loop, you will eventually transition back into an F sharp. And here is where the actual solo begins, because you will start with a slide from nowhere on the D string and you will land exactly on F. Right, so you'll go doesn't matter, just slide in from nowhere, and once you you land on F, this is the very first segment of the solo. Right, so once you're done with this, you go into like a sort of mini loop, which is right, and it uses like various pinch harmonics. You just play with your right hand on the G string and right, choose your flavor, as funny as playing with your right hand on the G string might sound. Right, so once again from the very beginning, once you slide that thing in, right, so few important mentions. When you walk up this pentatonic lick, you might notice that it's slightly, halfway through muted. It's not a very aggressive muting, but it's also not open. It's not, and it's also not. It's more like, right? And here, yeah, you have a pinch harmonic, and you want to slightly just bend it up. Not even a half step, but just gives it a bit of, that bluesy cowboyish feel. Alright, so, okay, continuing on, after the whole, you have another sequence of repetition, which is so it's basically just barring, yeah, the sun went up into the clouds and makes the whole thing not visible on the cam. Yeah, so eventually I had to wait for like 5 more minutes because it kept going in and out, but now I think it's clear. So appreciate the effort for me trying to make this tutorial 90% crappy instead of 100%. So where were we? Oh yeah, you have this thing right here where you actually want to continue into a another sequence of repetitions, which this time are the following. And here's a little trick. Try to hold down like a mini barring of the D and G strings with your index finger, and while you're playing this, just alternate between pick and pull off. Don't try to just, that'll never work and it will sound crappy. Right, so just do this. And another small tip is on the G string, when you're doing this, try to have like some sort of pinch harmonic, while on the D string just have it plain. So instead of having it plain for both of them, or pinched with all of them, just try to have like sort of like that feel, also with a slight muting on the D string. Right? Ignore the fact that I also combine some alternate picking right here. It's all pick pull off. Okay, and you do this 3 times, and when you reach this final thing right here, you actually continue with the following phrase. Right, so if I were you, I would rather group it as, and I would stop here so that the next phrase is actually 2 times. So do it as you wish, either full, 3 full repetitions of, and then, right? Or just, kind of 2.5, and then twice here. So yeah, this is basically the whole pattern that you're playing with. So once again, and this one right here, the final one, is actually with a pinch harmonic. Again, choose your flavor. So this first part from the very beginning, it's, you know, just play it. I'll play it slow. Again, choose one of your slides. Then right? Okay, now we're going into the second part, which is fairly short. And since I mentioned in the beginning that we're in A sharp, you might tend to think that the very next part is played probably here, or maybe even here. But if you pay close attention to the original, it's actually one octave higher, right? So we're basically playing it right here, up the neck. You can even try it on the neck pickup for having a smoother sound. But I prefer it on the bridge. So you're just performing a one full step, you know, whole step bend. And you're grabbing the string below on the 16th fret of the E string. Hope you got the idea. And then on the same string, on the B string, you're finishing this off on the 13th fret. And after chopping this tutorial in yet another part due to the sun suddenly going up into the clouds, we're back on. So now that we finished with the second part, we go into the third part, which is probably the wow sounding part, but it's actually very simple. And remember how in the beginning I showed you that for the rhythm parts you actually have the exact same thing, or almost the exact same thing as in It's My Life, just one whole step lower. Well, actually this applies also here, just not with It's My Life for this final lead part, but actually with You Give Love a Bad Name. So in You Give Love a Bad Name, you have this tapping part, which in the end results with, well, here you have exactly the same thing, and just like for the rhythm part with It's My Life, you just have to slide one whole step down. So it's actually, right? Sorry. And you finish off with, or if you have like a trem bar, you can just do a dive while on the rise of the bend. But since I'm guessing probably not all of you have, a simple release of the bend will suffice, and it sounds just as good as the original. With or without the pinch, right? So it's basically just hammering on and pulling off this shape right here on the B string from the 9th to the 6th frets, Yeah, so it's once you get comfortable with this, you just hammer out of nowhere on the 11th fret on the same B string, and you're just again sliding into no man's land. So combined, it's like yeah, careful not to go into the G string just like I did right now. You can even try it with the index finger. And again, after this whole thing finishes, you just also finish with kind of slowed it down there just so that you can catch where the transition happens. Right, so let's try from the very beginning. So rhythm is on this chord, the F sharp, and you just go with yeah, just make sure to catch that one, because especially at slow speeds, I'm kind of I have a hard time remembering where I am. So let's see it all together, right? So F sharp on the rhythm part, while the solo slides in with, and now for another slow playthrough, right? So let's try to do it like this so that you can see. Right, so a little faster this time. And one more time at full speed, or sort of, because I don't have the exact tempo right now, but should be close. Right? So yeah, that's it. Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to check the cover if you haven't done so already. And since the sun is playing tricks on me yet again, we will end this tutorial right here. Again, thank you for the special request. I hope it was useful to you, and I hope that you will be able to, learn and play it. And yeah, why not just hit me up and ask for whatever you need, or just show me your cover or whatever. And If not, just as always, I'm open to other requests and suggestions for other songs, right? So, yeah, before I become a complete dark shadow, I will end it right here and right now. Yeah.